if every youth is productive and everybody can contribute their quota to the economy, then of course the country will be better for it. There are studies that have shown that the more agile youth population you have, the better the growth of the economy. And that's why you see some countries encourage immigration because they know that the more youth they are able to attract to their countries, the better for them. You cannot be in this kind of economy where exchange rate is 1,500 to a dollar and then expect to survive. It's not going to work. So, what all this tells us is that no matter how much money you make, except you are extremely rich in Nigeria. Currently, we used to have, or before we used to have the lower class, the middle class, and then the upper class of the economy. But because of the economy reality, we don't even have the middle class again. What you have is either you're poor or you're rich. And the reasons for that is what you have on the screen. Any economy that has these matrices, there's absolutely no way people will survive. It's in fact, sometimes I don't know how people are surviving in the country. Two or more, minimum of two ways that you can do is to get a very high paying job, which is obviously not it's how many people are paying so much money in Nigeria. Even the current minimum wage is around 30. I think they're fighting to increase it to 50 or 60K now. That cannot even buy you a bag of rice. So how do you survive on that kind of minimum wage? Most companies are obviously not going to pay you so much, except very few companies that are going to pay you something that will be realistic. If you want to invest in Nigeria to today, you are definitely going to be making negative interest rates. The if inflation rate is 33% and all your investments you can do are going to pay you say about 10%, how do you make money? Because you make 10% of your money and then you go and pay 33% in expenses. So you're making negative real interest rate. So all these factors tells you that if you cannot get a high paying job, the next thing to consider is to start a business. The good thing is that God has given everybody a brain to think about a business to do. So you don't need any special training to think. We have the brain to think already. We just need to identify these opportunities and then run with it. So the question I will ask is, when is the best time to start a business? I can't see I can't see the chat box, but does anyone know when the best time to start a business is? You can type or you can speak if you want. Cheese, I can't see this chat box saying someone is chatting or typing. You can let me know.
Dr. Yusuf typed yesterday.
Oh, he said yesterday? Yeah, he's absolutely right. The time to start the business was yesterday. How did this guy hack into my system? How did you find this out? So the best time to start a business was yesterday. When is the next best time to start a business?
No, yes.
Absolutely. Now, there's no brainer about it. So you just have to start doing something now. And you know why you have to start now? There are more than 7 billion people in the world. Do you think you are the only one thinking about a business? How many times have you thought about a business and then you go online, you see that there are other people doing it? How many people has experienced that? And then you wonder why someone else is thinking about the same thing that you're thinking about. So the thing is, they have so many people in the world, and the chances of someone else thinking about what you have in mind is very high. There are very, very few businesses you can do that someone has never thought about before. Very, very, very few businesses like that. Most businesses that you're thinking about, someone has probably thought about them before, or someone has started working on them. So the reason why the best time to start a business is now is because someone else is thinking about it. So the first person that gets to the market gets the first mover advantage. So you just have to get going immediately. You think about the business. So um, For me personally, I've thought about businesses. I think I've been very entrepreneurial since when I was really young. I've tried my hands on different things. Some of them have worked out, some of them not so well. But the important thing is that you start, you try, and then you learn from those mistakes. One quote that I've heard that really resonates with me is, "I don't want to grow old and regretting that I didn't take on different opportunities that I could have explored when I was young. So I'd rather be young, try the opportunities, and then fail than not try those opportunities at all because you just never know what is going to work out." Does anybody know this company? I know everybody is on it. Everybody is on it except me. I'm not.
Except me, I don't even know what it is. Sorry.
Me too, I'm not on it too.
Okay, but I'm sure lots of people are on this thing, right?
What was it? What's the business?
Oh, okay. So it's called TikTok. Have you heard of TikTok?
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. So this
Oh,
that's the thing. So are you on TikTok?
Nora and Philomena are on TikTok.
no,
Yeah.
I don't do that.
So I mean, it's not a bad platform, right? I'm just saying that it's very popular now. I think, of course, they are trying to regulate it in some countries, but it's very popular. So this is TikTok. So many people are there. So many young people are on this TikTok. But guess what? I thought about doing something similar before we even knew about TikTok. So that's what I called it my own lost business opportunity. It's something that I could have explored. Maybe um, if I had, I think if I had taken it more seriously, I could have explored this business. So I had something similar to TikTok that I wanted to do 10 years ago. In fact, I paid someone to do it. I called it Miss Comedy Villa. So that's the name. So the idea behind this business was to do something like TikTok, but for comedy business. I like comedy. I like to laugh. So I just thought about doing something for the comedy business. And then I paid a developer to go ahead and develop the platform for me. This guy, he developed something that was nowhere near what we discussed. And then I told him to make changes. I never heard from him again. Ran away with my money, ran away with everything. I never found him. I think I tried to arrest him. I tried to look for police to arrest this guy, but he just promised that he will pay back about. I never heard anything about it. This was about 10 years ago. So imagine if I had continued to pursue this business idea, maybe today I won't be talking to you about starting a new business. I'll be talking to you about being a billionaire. But it's something to be aware of. Somebody is already thinking of what you're thinking of. So does anybody know this other company as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Gigi. Gigi is an e-marketplace where you can, you know, post your products and then connect with customers. So I had another idea that was similar to Gigi, but it wasn't entirely what Gigi was doing. So I took it a step further to say, in addition to going on Gigi, what you do on Gigi is if I have something to sell, say I have a car to sell, I go to Gigi, I post the picture of the car, and then someone connects with me, someone that would like to buy the car, and that's it. But I took mine a step further to say, in addition to doing what Gigi does, you could also go and do live bidding on the platform so you can bid for your products live. So if I don't want to waste time on looking for customers to buy my product, I could just decide to open it up to bids and the highest bidder wins the bid. So I call this platform 7 hour now. Um, Same thing, I paid someone to develop the app, they developed it. I think the challenge I had with pursuing this idea was I was probably trying to be perfect before going to the market. But if you ask me today, I would have just launched this product without thinking of being perfect. But these are some of the challenges that I face, and that's why I couldn't launch this product. If I have to do all these things again, clearly once I have a minimum viable product, I just go straight to the market. I'm not going to wait for perfection because I know that perfection does not exist when you're starting a new business. If you look at Facebook today, Twitter today. That's not how they started. Facebook interface when they started was very poor. Same with Twitter, it was very poor. But if you look at them today, they've gone through a series of upgrades, and that's why they look near perfect when you look at them now. So I should have just gone ahead, launched this product into the market, and you just keep upgrading until you get to where you really want them to be. If you go to Facebook today, you'll still see the pages I created for these businesses. There's one other one as well, but I'm not going to cover it here. But these two ones were the ones that I tried to really explore. And then, maybe I was just disappointed by the actions of other people. And then I probably lost the motivation to continue with these ideas. So, yeah, I don't feel bad for me. I know that I could have explored these ideas further. I might still go back to them if I can, but we'll see. So the point I was just trying to make there is other people are thinking of what you have in mind. So you do not need to wait, you have to start. At least in my own case, I even started, but it still didn't work out. But you just have to just start to do something, start from somewhere and then get yourself into the market. And you can obviously continue to improve. That's the way businesses work. So I like this quote from Mark Twain, which is, I was seldom able to see an opportunity until it ceased to be one. So lots of times there are opportunities around us, but we don't get to take advantage of those opportunities until they cease to exist. So there are opportunities everywhere. You just have to open your eye, maybe use your inner eye in this case to identify the opportunity. All opportunities start with an idea or a problem to solve. So for you to explore an opportunity, you need to be solving a problem. And that takes me to the next slide, which is how do you generate business opportunities? So I've been talking about starting a business, identifying opportunities, but how do you generate opportunities? The first thing or the first question you need to ask yourself is, what problem are you solving? You have to be solving a problem to identify an opportunity. The opportunity is how you want to solve. To identify the problem, then look for how you want to solve that problem. The problem has to be painful. So when I say painful, I don't mean painful by hurting yourself. It's got to be something that is very serious, or at least serious, right? So imagine if someone today comes up with the cure for cancer, right? That's a painful problem to the whole world. People have lost loved ones to cancer. If you can come up with the solution to cancer today, you just become very rich overnight, right? In 2020 and 2021, what happened to the whole world in 2020, 2021? COVID, right? At that point, COVID was a threat to human existence. But the people that really made money from COVID are the big pharmaceutical companies. How did they make money? They made money by doing research, and they were trying to create vaccines for COVID. What's the name? Pfizer, Moderna, and the likes. They created different kind of vaccines, even though I'm not sure those vaccines really helped us. Or I think those guys just scammed us with the vaccine thing, but they made money from it, right? They created this so-called vaccine. They said you were going to take one shot, and then they said you would take two shots, and then you have booster shots, and it's all sorts of things. But in 2021, 2022, if you check the financials of these companies, that was the year they made the most money in their existence, because at that point, they tried to look for a solution to a critical problem to the whole world at that time. If you check their financials by 2023, their profitability reduced significantly. And you know why? By 2023, people were not bothered about COVID again. It's either lots of people have taken the shots, the vaccines or the booster shots, and it wasn't really a problem again. And then what happened to their profitability? There was low demand for COVID vaccines or medications again, so they started losing money. So that tells you that when you have a problem to solve, that's when you get to make the most money. Once that problem is no longer there, of course, you don't make money again. So the more painful the problem is, the better the business opportunity. So when you're exploring different business ideas, there are certain things you need to consider for you to say your business idea is superior. By superior, what we mean is that there has to be, number one, real value to the end user. When you're thinking about doing a business as well, the end user here is not just, you need to differentiate between who the consumer is and who the customer is. Can anyone try to differentiate who customer and consumer is? It can be by chart or you can omit.
So I didn't get the question.
Okay, so the question is, can you differentiate between who a customer is and who the consumer is? Did you get that?
All right, can I try?
Please go ahead.
All right. When you say a customer and a consumer, they are quite different in the business world. A consumer use your goods. They use your good for their immediate need. For example, if I buy Bonfita or a milk and I want to drink it in my house, I am a consumer. But if I buy that same milk and I want to sell it at a higher price to make profit, maybe because I've added value to it, then I become a customer. So it's different in the business world.
Is that a detail?
Something
Well,
like that.
Okay, I mean, your voice already. Um, I knew you were the one from the voice. So yeah, I mean, you were spot on. So there's a difference between the customer and the consumer. The consumer is the final user of the product, while the customer does not necessarily be the final user. You may just be someone that, if you want to resell it, you're just the customer, not the final user. The final user is the person that will use or consume the product. So you have to be able to differentiate between who the customer and the consumer is. So in this case, you're looking for how to add value to the consumer. What value are they going to get from this product? So I give you an example. If you're a farmer, let's say I grow maize, crops, or whatever, and I can develop a solution that will reduce pests on your farm and then increase your produce by maybe another 50%. That is real value to the farmer in that case, because they can obviously reduce number of damaged crops and then increase their harvest as well. If you could look for a solution to solve, say, so let's say I can predict when, let's say I can develop a solution that predicts when someone will have a heart attack, right? And then I know that once I have this product, before I have a heart attack, I get a notification and then I can take my medication or whatever I need to do. That's real value. Or if you can think of just anything that has real value to to your customer, right? People will be ready to pay for it, because that leads me to the second point, which is it's a painful problem or a serious problem. And then if you are trying to solve a serious problem, clearly you will get you will be able to reach out to the right market, and then you can make money from it. If you are also exploring the business idea, you need to do a proper market analysis. You need to be sure that there's a market for it, and then the market is wide enough for you to address. Make sure that there's good margin on the business as well. You don't want to do business and then lose money. So you want to make money as well. Ensure that there is a good margin on it. You have market that you can address with your product, and then ensure that there's good timing and fit. So the timing, like I said, is you need to be sure that we are moving to the market at the right time. Do your market analysis, and then you can introduce your product to the market. So for this first step, it's proven everywhere, and that's how in the business world. That's how you evaluate superior business ideas. If you go to an investor today that you want to raise money for your business, these are the things that they consider. They look at the value to the end user. They look at how serious they look at the solution you are providing, and they determine how it is going to solve a serious problem. They look at the market size, and then they look at timing and fit. When you watch shows like Shark Tank, Dragon's Den, and you see these investors trying to buy or invest in businesses, even though they don't tell you all of this, but they think about this in their mind. So when you pitch a business, these are the things that they're looking at. Well, what's the value to the end user? What problem are you solving? What's the market size? So if you can tick all these boxes, you see that the sharks or the dragons will fight to invest in your business because they know and they can see it already. If you are not, if your business idea is not seen to be superior, you may not get all of them to be interested in investing in your business, and then they might want to discount the value of that business because they don't see that you're trying to solve a very serious problem. But if you were trying to solve a serious problem, they might probably even increase the valuation of your business. So you need to think about these four things if you're exploring business ideas. Again, finally, you don't need to always start something that's entirely new. You don't have to say, until I can think of something that nobody has ever done in the world before you start a business. It's probably not going to happen. Like I said before, other people are thinking of doing businesses. You are not that special. Okay. You are special. Everybody is special, but in terms of thinking about these business ideas, you are not the most special person in this case. Everybody is thinking about businesses in the world, not just in Nigeria. So you don't always need to think about doing something that's entirely new. You can also think about improving on existing solutions. Look at what is around and see how you can improve it. When I was talking about my previous business endeavor, the one on the GG one, so I was going to say, in addition to what GG is doing, then you can do bidding on it as well. So that's to add an improvement to an existing solution, right? So you don't always necessarily need to do something entirely new. You can also look at other existing solutions and improve on them. So where can you get business ideas from or opportunities? So many places. You can, from podcasts, reports, trends. Of course, you can be creative as well. You can look at existing businesses, franchises, industry. So you can, from conversation, professionals, VCs, travels, and the like. So there are so many areas where you can get business ideas from. You just have to explore, keep an open mind, and then you can find one. I was talking to one of my friends recently. So I'm currently in Canada, and I was talking to one of my colleagues. The guy, the guy, he saw the suit I was wearing, and then he asked me where I got my suit from. I said I got my suit from Nigeria. I made it from Nigeria. I don't even buy suit. I get someone to make my suits for me. So my suits are tailor made. So he said he likes it that, how much did I buy it? He asked me how much I bought my suit. So I told him, I said, well, when I made this suit, I made it for around 60K for one suit. So we converted it, and it was about, say, $100, maybe lower than that. But if you're going to buy suits here, upward of $300 to $500. And then this guy told me that, whoa, that he has to make a suit from Nigeria. It's not going to be from here. Already, when we had that conversation, I was already thinking of, if that was a problem, if suits are expensive here in Canada, maybe I could just get someone, make it, bring it here, and then make margin on it. I just thought about it. I'm not sure if I would do it, but it just came to my mind. So the point is that there are opportunities everywhere. Just keep an open mind. It might be from conversations like this. That's where ideas come from. And if it's something that I really wanted to pursue, I would do it. And then I know that things are quite expensive here. That's how they see it as expensive. If you're going to spend $500 on a suit, It's expensive. If someone offers you that same suit for say 200, 250, it's a bargain to you, same quality, but more affordable. So there are opportunities everywhere. Just keep an open mind, do research, talk to people, and you can get the best opportunities. So the process of being an entrepreneur. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, you need to have an idea, and then evaluate the potential of this idea. That's the opportunity. Then you need to do a business plan. So the business plan, it's a different process itself, but I'm not going to cover it here. We can discuss this one-on-one if anybody's interested. But the business plan is where you do your market sizing. You want to see the customers you can attend, that you can address, how you want to go to the market, your pricing and marketing strategies. All of these, you put them in the business plan, and that's how you really determine viability of your business idea. Then, of course, you can proceed with, once you have a very solid business plan, you can proceed to starting the business, and then you can grow the business from there. So how do you determine if you have a business idea? How do you determine if you should proceed or not? Right? Before you start a business, I know sometimes we are very emotional people because you've thought about it and you just want to do it because you thought about it. It's not always like that. So even though, we can be emotional, we need to also be realistic and factual as well. When you have a business idea, you need to consider certain things to determine if you should proceed or not. If not, you just waste your time and waste resources, and you'll be worse off. So to determine if a business idea is worth pursuing or not, there are different ways to determine viability for a business, different models, different analysis that you can do. But personally, I like the 5 Cs because it's easy to do. You don't need to write. You don't need so much thinking before you can evaluate a business idea. So 5 Cs to the rescue. 5 Cs is, it's commonly used in the business world to determine viability for a business. So the first thing you want to look at is the company. So if I have a business idea today, I am the company. So what you're considering here is you're looking at your strengths and your weaknesses, your resources and capabilities. If I were to start a business today, I want to consider if I have the knowledge, the expertise. Even if I don't have the expertise, do I have people that I can partner with? So let's say I want to do something in the IT sector and I'm a finance professional. I need to look for someone that has IT background that I can bring into the business and we can work together. So those are the ways to improve your company's capabilities, because you now have someone else that complements your own skills. You want to see if you have resources, say you have technologies that you can use to start the business. So these are some of the things you need to consider as a company. Then the other thing to do is to do your customer analysis. So this is where you are looking at your target market, your addressable market. You're looking at the customer needs, preferences, and trends, in the industry. You evaluate your competitors as well. So for competitors, you have direct and indirect competitors, and you need to understand what they are doing, what their market positioning is. If, let's say today I want to start a business in the fintech sector, and my business is going to be around, say, the same thing that the guys like Money Points, same thing that they do. If I want to do something similar, who would I see as my competitor in this case? Let's say I want to do what Money Point is doing, or who are the current competitors to Money Point? So if you know some of the competitors for Money Point's competitors in Nigeria, just name a few of them.
I'll say OP, Pampe.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're right. So these are the regular competitors and these are direct competitors because they do similar things, similar business. That's what they do. But if I ask you, who spoke now? Was that Chizzy? So
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to ask you a follow-on question. So if you say PalmPay, OPay, and the likes are competitors, that's absolutely fine. Do you see someone like MTN or Airtel to be indirect competitors?
No.
Exactly. So do you know that today MTN plays in that space as well? MTN is they have this thing called Momo. They have Momo agents all around the place, right? These guys are gradually creeping into the fintech space, and it's easy for them to go in. You know why? MTN already has the customer base. They have the most number of subscribers in Nigeria. So if MTN were to say, you know what, you don't need any of these apps to do transfers from one person to another, they would take all their market share easily and immediately without doing much marketing. Right. So these are some people that you can take as your indirect competitors because they might want to play in that same market. So as you're doing your competitor analysis, you are looking at your direct competitors. You are also looking at indirect competitors in this case, right? So you also want to determine who your collaborators are. You cannot develop every single thing by yourself. You'll be surprised today that even your banks, the biggest banks in Nigeria, when you go to your banking app today and you can make transfers, right? Or you can buy a movie ticket, or you can pay for your flight ticket, or you can do FX transfers or whatever. Do you think it's the bank that built all those capabilities into the app? No, that doesn't happen. So sometimes what the bank will do is, in fact, some banks, they don't own the mobile app. It's just branded in their name, but they don't own it. Every transaction that happens on the app, they have to share revenue with someone else. So if you have other people that you can partner with that can give you the APIs or the capability to incorporate their product into your product, and then you share revenue with them, those are your collaborators. In this case, you just always have to think about, you cannot, as a bank, if you already have a mobile app and you want that mobile app to allow customers to book flight tickets, are you going to be writing codes or developing a way um, to incorporate all the prices from all the airlines into your app? That is too much work for you. You don't want to focus on that. You want to look for someone that is currently offering that kind of service and then incorporate into your app. The only thing you have to do is to share revenue with that. And you don't have to be greedy every time. You have to be willing to share revenue with someone. If not, it's going to cost you a lot more to go and start building that capability yourself. Wakana today, that's what Wakana today. If you want to book ticket, whether it's domestic or international flight tickets, if you go to Wakana, you can see a list of different airlines and then the prices for each of them. Do you think Wakana goes to all of these airlines to ask them for their prices and then they upload it manually on their website? No, it doesn't work like that. All you have to do is to get the API, incorporate the API into your business or your website or app or whatever, and then you can share revenue with them. So when you're thinking of a business or when you're trying to evaluate your business, you should think about people that you can collaborate with. You don't have to be the one to do everything. Collaborate with people, and then you can easily scale your business. And then finally, you want to think about context as well. So for context, we look at person analysis here, where you're thinking about the political environment, economic environment, social, technology, environmental, and the legal environment. If I were to ask on this call now, if I develop a product that is tailored to pet owners, so let's say cats in this case, how many people own cats on this call? If you have a cat, you can just type in the chat box. Say yes, just say yes if you have. So Cheesy, you can help me check. I can't see what's going on in the chat box. Did anybody say yes?
No, nobody.
Okay. If you have a dog, just type yes in the chat box.
Dr. Yusuf said no, but Nigerians don't like cats.
So you'll be surprised that if I were to come to Nigeria and I wanted to make a product that is specifically for cats, right? Do you think it's going to sell that much in Nigeria? Maybe not. But if you were to go to other countries, they are probably looking for that product because they have almost everybody has a cat, or maybe almost everybody has a dog, right? So these are economic factors you need to think about. When people have not been able to afford 3 square meals in Nigeria, would they consider having a pet? Even if they have a pet, they are getting people. I've seen people give dogs a bath. What else? Ridiculous things to eat. Yeah, and you expect the pet to grow well. It's not gonna possible. It's not gonna be possible. So, if people cannot really afford to take care of themselves, how would they take care of pets? Or why would they even think of buying a pet product? So if no matter how good your idea is, you have to consider some of these things. If I were to go to say, I'm not really conversant with the North, but I would assume that you don't have. So let me use Kano as an example. In Lagos, you have beaches that you can go to. You can go sell bikini. People will buy because they'll go to the beaches. It may not be the same if you go to places like Kano. And reason is for environmental reasons, and there may be cultural reasons as well, or religious reasons. So these are some of the things that you need to consider if you want to do a business. My major challenge with doing business in Nigeria is this year: regulation, politics. That's my major problem with doing business in Nigeria. If you ask me today what my top challenge with doing business in Nigeria is, this is it. It's not even about raising money. Even let's say I want to do a business that will cost me $1 million, for example. I don't have $1 million today, but that will not be my number one challenge. My number one challenge will be politics, regulation. The political landscape in Nigeria is quite unstable, right? And it can be funny. The one very recent example is OPE and Lagos State, right? OPE came to Lagos, they started their business, they had bikes everywhere across Lagos. Right. If I remember, I used the bike once, only once. They didn't allow me to enjoy OPE. So I used it once because I wanted to attend a wedding at somewhere very far from my house, say Yanapaja. Well, I can't remember where, but it was too far for me. When I checked boats and Uber, I was seeing like 5,000. That was like maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I can't remember. So I was going to pay like 5,000 or so just to go to the location. But when I tried OPE, I think I paid 500 naira or so. I was shocked at how can I pay 500 from this place to where I went to. Anyway, OPE came to Lagos. They went to meet with the Lagos State government. They got approval from Lagos State government, and then they started doing their business in Lagos. The same governor that gave them approval to operate is the same governor that's years later and came up to say Lagos State is a mega city. We don't want bikes we don't want bikes in Lagos State again. So how do you think that affects the business? Eventually, the owner of the business died, maybe for other reasons, but that is enough to kill you when you raise money from investors, you build your business. The same person that gave you approval is telling you that you cannot do business again. So that has killed businesses, because of unstable political and regulatory factors. Same thing had happened to, so I think the one that's currently happening is with Landmark Beach. Landmark obviously bought that space of land from, they bought that space of land, got approval from Lagos State government, and they built the resort. They built the resort and they named it Landmark. Today, there's a project that's supposed to pass through Landmark, and the place is being destroyed. I think part of the place is being destroyed now. Someone at the point of buying that land, someone should have told him that it was not going to be possible, that this place has been earmarked for a certain product or for a certain project. But I don't know if that conversation was had, but we shouldn't be. In fact, it should have been allowed to buy that part of VI, because if they knew there was a project that was going to pass that place, then why are you selling the land to him? Why are you giving him approval to go ahead with that structure? So there's a project that I'm working on, me, Yusuf, and then Lukman and one other person. We've been at Yusuf. Maybe if you have update for me now, you can tell me. But we've been trying to get regulatory approval since November last year. This is July. It's 7 months. We've not been able to get approval from. Someone comes to the country, they're trying to solve a problem in an industry. You go to your regulator, they should be happy that you're bringing solutions to that industry, but you don't get the approval on time. Except maybe you have to pay some money to someone, do PR and all of that. We've been waiting for these guys to approve our idea since November or October last year, and this is July. We haven't gotten anything from them. So it's a big problem that you need to be aware of. So if you're thinking of a business, just know that regulation is a big idea. It's a big problem, but to solve that problem, what people try to do is you need to lobby or talk to some of these regulators, and hopefully they can. But the point is, even if you're able to convince them to give you approval, you don't know what the next person is going to do. So regulation is a very important factor to consider when you're thinking of proceeding with a business idea in Nigeria. But of course, that should not stop you. There are so many startups that have come and they are now unicorns in Nigeria. Paystack, Flutterwave, and all of them. So it's just something to be aware of, but it's not enough to deter you from doing a business. So what does it take to become a successful entrepreneur? So the first is commitment. You just have to be persistent. You want to solve problem, be persistent at it, be disciplined, and then be willing to sacrifice your time as well. You need to have courage. You have to be fearless. You don't have to be afraid of failure. You need to be obsessed with the opportunity. Make it like a baby. Treat it like a baby. You don't want anything to happen to your baby, right? You want to protect that baby. Do the same thing with your business idea. Make sure that you wake up to that opportunity, you sleep thinking about that opportunity. Just be obsessed with it. You need to also be tolerance of risk. You have to be a risk taker to do businesses or to do big things. Most of these businesses, remember, they don't. For Tesla, if anybody knows the story of Tesla took about 10 years of operations before they eventually made a profit, right? Of course, we cannot all be like Tesla, right? Because the owner of Tesla is obviously a billionaire already. So even if Tesla did not work out, he will still be rich anyway. But the point is that he has taken so much risk on Tesla, and today Tesla is the most valued company in the car industry in the world. So Tesla is valued more than every other automaker. Ferrari, think about it, Benz, Toyota, everybody. Tesla has more valuation than all of these companies. The only reason why this has happened is because they've been able to look for a way to change how driving works. So now you can drive a Tesla without you don't even need to drive it. It can self-drive itself. And then it's also using it's not using fossil fuel. You can just recharge it with electrical car. So these guys have been at it for about 10 years before they eventually made money. So they've started making profits now, but it took them about 10 years. Elon Musk is a different breed. We can't compare him to all of us because he's already rich. And he doesn't do he tries to do revolutionary businesses. So this guy is also working on SpaceX already, which is already incredible that he's working on that kind of thing. But you just have to be able to take risk if you want to do businesses. Business is not for the faint-hearted. You have to be serious. You have to be able to take risk. You have to be able to commit money and time into it. Then creativity. So if you are going to be innovative, you have to be creative as well. Bring creativity into what you're proposing to the market, and then you need to have motivation to excel. So we are in the era of startups in Nigeria. Startup started becoming prominent, say, in the last decade. And if you look at the screen, you can see all of these startups. You probably know them, or you would have been involved with some of them. What you need to know is that every single industry is being disrupted. Every single industry, name it. We might not be there yet in Nigeria, but every single industry is being disrupted. So LifeBank is doing amazing things in the healthcare sector. Farm Crowd is supporting farmers, give them access to funding. They can support their farming and increase their harvest. Flutterwave is a unicorn already and is doing well in the payment sector. Same with Paystack. Hotels NG is doing amazing things. It's, when you think about what people like Uber, Bolt, Airbnb, what they are doing, they've revolutionized the transport system. Uber, you don't need to use taxis again. So they understood the problem of using taxis, and they tried to solve that problem without the cars do not belong to Uber. So you're using your car to make money and then solving other people's problems. So they've revolutionized that industry already. Same thing with Airbnb. Airbnb has revolutionized the hotel industry as well. And then all these other companies here, they are mostly in the payment sector. So this is what I don't like. Most of these companies are doing similar things, right? So, I just want to see more creativity in the fintech sector. Everybody cannot be doing payments. Everybody cannot be facilitating transfers. I think that industry has already peaked. We need to look for something else to do. I just don't want to see another company that is saying, no, you can do payment, and so we need to think of other things to do. So if that's another, if you are thinking of doing something within the payments, within the payment sector, I think you should think of something else. Maybe you can how to you can probably think of how to facilitate maybe international transfers better and make it more seamless. But domestic transfers is too many players in that industry. But there's so many opportunities. People are talking about financial inclusion on a daily basis. How can you solve that problem? Think about it. Different sectors with different opportunities that you can think of. So I have a small story about Airbnb here. If you know how Airbnb started, when you are doing, so maybe at this point I could also ask, does anyone know what the difference between a business and a startup? Or can anyone try to differentiate when you say, oh, I want to do a business, or I want to that I'm working on a startup? Do you know what the difference between these two are? Can anybody try?
It's like I will be the only one answering the business questions.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. We are here to learn.
I think the startup is thinking about is when you use technology to provide solution to anything. So as far as you're using technology to provide a solution, you can call that a startup. But a business doesn't necessarily have to be technology inclined or technology based. Anyhow.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Thanks for answering. So yeah, if today I say I want to go into bottled water business and I want to start either manufacturing bottled water and selling, or maybe I buy from someone and resell, that's you doing business. If I want to buy drinks or buy laptops and resell or create so you're just doing business. That's what you're doing. But when you talk about startups, as you have said, you have to think about, you're looking about creative way of doing businesses using technology. And the difference is, if I start selling bottled water today, I start making money from that same day that I start. So if I buy bottled water at 10 naira today and I sell it at 11 naira, I start making profit from the first day. But for startups, you don't get to make money until after a while. So that's why it's called a startup. When investors invest in a startup, they are betting on future valuation. They are betting on the success being successful. They are betting on, say, today, this startup is valued at $1 million. But we see the value in this business. Even though it's not going to make money today, we know that if we explore this idea, invest in it, in 10 years, in 5 years, it can be worth 10 billion. And by $10 billion, if I invested, say I invested 20% in a $1 million business today, that's 200,000. In 10 years, if that business grows to 10 billion, it means I have like two billion, or yeah, I think you have 2 billion already in 10 years. So when you invest in a startup, you are betting on future performance and future valuation of that company. So personally, I like startups because you just need to give it time, work on the idea, refine it, prefer solutions that the customers want to see, and then you'll be better for it in the future. Today, Flutterwave, Paystack, and there's one other one. They are all unicorns in Nigeria. A unicorn means a company that is valued at above $1 billion. So imagine when was Paystack started? They started maybe about 10 years ago, and then today they are worth $1 billion. So that's the thing about startups. You have to, bet on the fact that these businesses are going to increase their valuation in 5 to 10 years. So a short story about Airbnb. So different ways to create business idea. These guys, when they started Airbnb, they didn't set out to say we want to revolutionize the hotel industry. That was not the idea. The problem is that these guys were broke and they needed money. So that's one thing that also propels you to think about business ideas, because you're broke and you have nothing to do. So these guys, I mean, as you can see, they were living somewhere, they couldn't pay their rent. So they started thinking about what to do because they needed to make money to pay their rent. So they started saying, okay, you know what, maybe we can just rent out mattresses to people and they make some money from it. So they made a blog, and then two people decided to pay for it, and then they paid $80 each. And they thought, okay, if we did it and three people paid for it, then maybe it might be a good idea. Remember, this was all in 2007. 2007. So they thought it was, so because some people subscribed to it, so they thought it was a good idea. And then so they started working on the idea. So they launched a website where you could also do bookings, because they got feedback from some people. But when they launched a website to get bookings, only two people booked on the website. So at that point, they thought, okay, this is probably not a good idea. We just have to stop it. But they continue. When they didn't have money to continue the business, they started selling, around 2008 when the recession was about to start. They started selling Obama oil cereal. So when they started, this was entirely different from their business, but they started selling cereals and they were making $40 from each cereal they were selling. So they made $30,000 from selling cereals and then they put that money into the business. They also got funding from someone, from, if you know Y Combinator is an accelerator that helps businesses. So they got some $20,000 in funding. That $20,000 wasn't, it's like me giving someone 20K. I don't care whether you make it or not. I'm just giving you that money. So they had $50,000 to work on the business, and they improved on the website and they started making $200 every week. But at that point, they still saw that they were making constant $200 for months, and they weren't growing the business. So they found out that why they were not able to scale was because people wanted to see, if I want to book a room, I want to see the room I want to book, right? So when they realized that people wanted to be seeing pictures of where they wanted to stay, then they bought cameras and they started taking those pictures by themselves, or they get people to take the pictures. And then in a week, they started making $400 a week because people could now see what they wanted to book, and then they got more people to book. Then they, of course, went to a VC that rejected them. Then finally, there was, I don't know if you know this guy. So this guy is a Barry Manilow. Is a famous singer, but he wasn't the one that even rented the apartment. It was his drummer. His drummer rented an entire house from them. And then he started talking to people about this business, saying, "Oh, you guys need to try this. Very cool business. If you want to book, you don't need to go to your hotel. Go to this website, book a room, book the whole apartment, whatever you want." So this obviously helped them, and then they were able to raise some money from Sequoia, $600,000. They raised this money, and then they also continued to raise money. By 2010, 2011, so many other people invested in the business, including Ashton Kutcher. And as of the last time, this business was valued at $10 billion. That was it. So why this X is here is because, these guys have grown beyond $10 billion. In between 2007 to 2014, that was 7 years. In 7 years, the valuation had gone from zero, because at this point they had zero to $10 billion. And that's why these are startups. When they started, they were not making money, or they were making very little money. And then they just continue improving on the idea. When they realized that people wanted to see pictures, they improved on it. And then they started working on the customer feedbacks. These are this is just to let you know that if you want to go into a startup, you have to be prepared. It's not all going to be rosy. It's, if you want to do a startup where you start making money from the next year, maybe doing startup is not for you. But that's why some people try to do it as side hustles. So you have your main 9 to 5 or your main job, but you work on this project by the side, because you're not going to make money very quickly until after a while. So that's the brief story of Airbnb. So what I'll leave you with today is to say that there are opportunities around you everywhere. Look at industries, talk to people. There are always business opportunities. You need to take that opportunity today, because time flies. If you need any help with evaluating a business idea, you want to talk about how to scale a business or how to even develop business ideas, of course, you can always reach out to me, and I'm sure I'll be able to help in some way. So that'll be all from me today. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that was really so much value to take in.
Yeah. So,
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for making it very easy to understand. And it wasn't boring at all because I followed all through, and I want to believe every other person here, right, followed all through from the beginning. You just made it very relatable. Okay, I think Ade wants to ask a question. You can go ahead, please.
Oh, okay, yes, please.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much. I have a question. I don't know if you would still take questions later on.
Oh, yeah, please go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. So my question is around, I understand that we preach starting businesses in Nigeria and all that. But my question is really around the people stealing ideas of people as well in Nigeria.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
again, it's not in Nigeria alone.
yeah,
I was listening to this celebrity talk about they started a perfume line in
yeah,
Nigeria,
yeah,
got celebrities to advertise the perfume line. The perfume line started finally selling. And then by the time he found out, about people have made a copyright version of that same perfume, and they were selling even much more than him. And it's the same thing. I think Nedu was talking about his clothing line as well. And then all of a sudden he saw his clothing line on a mannequin in on Aba market as well. You know, all these things it discourages people from, really pursuing their dreams, and
yeah.
people lose a lot of money. I have a personal experience that happened to me as well,
Whoa.
where I was meant to go on a project, and I was working towards piloting the project, and I thought that I needed more students on the project so that I can pilot it. So I spoke to a colleague of mine about it, that please, can I have your students and join them with mine so that the pilot would be bigger? And he said, oh, that's fine, that's fine. I kept on emailing, I kept on calling him later on that you've not sent me the list of your students. I think the mistake I made was that it wasn't documented. Our conversation was not documented. It was
Yeah.
more of calls, because I'm very bad at texting, I'm very bad at emails and all that. All of a sudden, for me to find out that my idea has been launched.
Yeah.
So that's my question. How do we deal with this issue of
Yeah.
people stealing your ideas and all that? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Interesting question. You know Zlatan, right? The popular Nigerian rapper. I think the guy launched his business. He launched a fashion business recently, and then the same week, about people started making the same thing, right? So it's a big problem. So what I would say is this: yeah, when you have a business idea, you cannot just discuss it with anyone. If you feel the need to seek for an advisor, you need to be sure that it's someone you can trust, and then you can have that conversation with them. If I have a business idea today, like I said, I'm working on something with Yusuf already. I know I can trust him, and I can discuss it with him, and then we can work on it together. In fact, the reason I'm discussing it with him is because I want to hear his opinion and I want him to join my team. But there are other people I can't discuss it with because I can't trust them, and that's the way it is. I was in one of my MBA classes, the guy that taught marketing, he said, and then he showed me pictures. He showed us pictures in class. He said he was talking to, do you guys know who Jack Dorsey is? Jack Dorsey.
Twitter, isn't it?
The guy that created Twitter, Jack Dorsey. The guy that created Twitter before he sold to Elon Musk used to work under him. He recruited him, right? So what they were doing then was he had this business hub where you have developers and then they develop applications for different people. So he discussed this idea with Jack, saying, oh, Jack, you know what, we can do something like this. And then after a while, Jack left the company and then he went to start Twitter. And that's why he has Twitter today. Jack stole his idea. So he said when he found out that it was Jack that owned Twitter, I mean, it was enraged. He had to write, he even tried to sue Twitter, like, why your CEO stole my idea, blah, blah, blah. But of course, nothing came out of it. So the point is, you cannot discuss your business idea with someone you don't trust. If need be, you need to do an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that has to be signed by both parties. or by all the parties involved. If you that is what protects you. If not, someone they're going to steal your idea. So do an NDA if it's possible, or discuss with only people that you trust. The problem is in Nigeria, that's where Nigerian factor now comes in. How um, can you really trust the courts to do their job in enforcing the NDA? That's the problem. You can go to other countries and it might be easy for you to enforce your NDA, but in Nigeria, it may not be so easy to enforce your NDA if there's a breach of agreement. But generally, to protect yourself, you want to document your conversation, you want to do an NDA, and then you have to trust the people that you trust. I think that's what I would say about it. Hope it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And I feel like it's also very important that, again, like you said, I think you said something like that, whereby we just don't get too emotional about our ideas. Because when we get too emotional, it's quite easy for you to just want to talk about it to anyone and everywhere that you
Yeah.
get.
So you
Um,
need to know what you're doing.
yeah,
Uh, when to also talk about opportunities, you need to there are different ways you can get opportunities from. So I'm doing a business currently in Nigeria. uh my wife is doing an amazing job with managing the business in my absence, so I'm grateful for that. So what we try to do is, wait, who is this? Okay, so I was thinking about my wife. So yes, so she's doing an amazing job with managing the business. I'm really happy about it. But the business that I'm doing is, it's a gaming lounge. It's a lounge where, you know, how did I came about the idea this way. If you go to different places in Surulere, you can go to a bar or a joint or wherever, and then what you see, they have maybe just one game. I mean, as you're having your drink, you can play snooker or whatever. That's all you can do. Or if you go to other gaming areas, say if you go to Spa or ShopRite, you have some people that have games there. So the kind of games you see there is they may have PlayStations, have virtual reality, but they may not have other games. So what I try to do is, um, I used to like playing snooker. So sometimes I'll close from work and then I go to one of these places to play snooker and then go home late. So of course, it was a problem with my wife because she didn't understand why I was coming home late. And she did. If I now tell her that, I was just playing snooker, she didn't understand. It didn't make sense that you're playing snooker and that's why you came home late. So it was because of all those back and forth. And I said, you know what? Okay, maybe I can just look for a place, or is there even a place where we can, instead of going to different places, if I like to play snooker and I want to play PlayStation, will I be going to different places to play these games? What if you can bring all of these games into one place and then anybody can come there to play? So that was how, we started working on that idea. And then when I was working on it, I also thought about parents. So as a parent, if you want to go out to have fun, for example, you don't want to take your child to a place where people are smoking and drinking. You want to take them to a responsible place. And one other challenge with parent is that when you want to go out to have fun, you are thinking of, if you take your child there, your child will just be bored because they can't do whatever you're doing. Your child can obviously not play snooker with you or maybe play video game with you. So the child is going to be bored. Or if you decide to take your child to children play area, it's just your children that will be playing, but you will be bored as the parent because you can't do what the child is doing. So you're just watching your child play and then you are bored. Then I came up with the idea of, uh instead of having adults play games that children cannot do, or children playing games that adults cannot do, why not combine these two in one place? So in the same place you have children games, you have adult games. So even if I come there as a father, my child can be doing their own thing, I can be doing my own thing, and then everybody is happy. So we have to incorporate all of those things into the business. And then, we started in the business. When we did the business, we didn't really make money in the first year, but We took all the lessons from the first adventure and then we put it into the new adventure, and it's working well now. So that speaks to the risk part. You have an idea. Are you willing to pursue it? Do you uh, My mantra is, I don't care if I'll make money from it. I just have to do it if I think I can do it. If you don't try to work on a business, there's no way you will know if you'll be successful or not. I want to grow old knowing that I tried my hands on everything that I wanted to do. I don't want to live with regrets when I grow old. So if you have any idea, please go ahead, try it. If you need to refine it, even if you want to discuss it with me, I can sign an NDA, no problem. It's your business idea, but eventually, at some point in the future, I'm going to be doing the same thing that these Dragon guys are doing. So the stage I'm in is the stage where I have to think about businesses and then start something. But when I get to a certain stage, I want to be investing in other people's businesses. So I'm very passionate about business ideas, starting businesses, and then growing businesses. So if you have any need to talk about businesses, please reach out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I think we have Abiodu. Your hands are raised up. You can unmute, please. Okay. While we're waiting for her, I have this question, right? I've been hearing it a lot in different events I have been opportune to attend, which is it advisable for a young graduate or a recent graduate to start a business, like to just move from school to become an entrepreneur, or rather to look for a job to gain work experience first before um, starting a business?
Yeah, good question. So I would say there is no one way to start a business, right? There's no defined way to start. There's nobody will tell you that you need to have your 9 to 5 before you can start a business, or that you can't even start your business fresh from school, right? The only thing I would say is this: if you want to pursue a business venture and you are sure that you've done your homework and it's something that's viable to do, whether you're doing your 9 to 5 or you're unemployed, or whether you are even in school, you need to pursue it. Now, the challenge will be that, oh, do I have the resources to start a business? Because that's a common factor. And that's one of the reasons why you don't have some businesses scale up. So capital is obviously an important thing if you want to do a business, because if you don't have the capital and then you have the idea, you're going nowhere. So in that case, as a young graduate, or even before you graduate, I will tell you that you need to start thinking of something, if you can. And if you feel that you've thought about something, pursue it immediately. It doesn't stop you from doing your 9 to 5, right? If you still want to get a job and do your 9 to 5, by all means, go ahead and do it. Because the entrepreneurial journey is not an easy one, right? It's We only get to see the successful ones, the pay stacks, the flutter wave and the like. We only get to see the successful ones. For every one successful startup you see, there have been like 500 that failed, right? There would have been like 500 that failed. So we only get to hear the stories of the successful ones. So that's why everybody thinks, oh, once you go into startups, you'll make money. It's not always like that. Now, why some of these businesses fail or don't eventually scale is because they lack the resources to scale the business. Whether you like it or not, you need cash to run a business. You need money to run a business. So to solve that problem, that's why you need to collaborate with people. Collaborate. Collaborate with people that you can trust, people that can help you raise funding, depending on what the challenge is. But if it's funding, you can talk to people that can help you raise the funding, and then you can move into the business. So if you say as a young graduate, you don't want to do your 9 to 5, you just want to focus on your business. You need money to run that business. And remember that you're not making money immediately from that business, because you have to be on it for a while and for years before you start making money from that business. So the question you want to ask yourself is, do you have enough money to sustain yourself for 5, 10 years if the business does not start generating money? If the answer is yes, then by all means, just focus on it. Some people are privileged, and then they have when Davido wanted to start singing, you know, his father supported him. But the point is, even if his father didn't support him and he failed, his music career failed, he knows that he can always go back to his father, and then he's never going to be poor, because he will go back to his father and then he can still get money from his father, right? But if you're not from a privileged background and you know that if I embark on this venture and it fails, you are left with nothing. And then what do you do at that point? How do you survive? How do you take care of yourself? Right? So you need to be sure of your own survival before you fully immerse yourself into businesses. When you hear stories of people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, these guys came from privileged backgrounds, right? If Elon Musk started his business and didn't make money, he would have gone back to his family. If Bill Gates started his business and didn't make money, he would have gone back to. So they were privileged people. Same thing with Dangote. So Dangote came from a privileged background. Or Tedola, these guys, they came from privileged background. So you can't compare yourself with them. If I were an Otedola's child, right, I probably would not think about getting a job, because I know that my dad will always give me money. So then I can focus on my business. DJ Copy today, she's doing masters that are irrelevant. I think she's bored. She doesn't know what to do. So she's doing masters and then another masters and then another masters. Why is she doing all of this? There's money in the house anyway. So even if there's nothing for her to do, she will always come back to the family. So when you're making that decision to either go fully into doing businesses straight from school, you need to be sure that you can at least sustain yourself while you're at the business. But if you know that you can't sustain yourself, you want to maybe look for something that will fetch you money while you're working on it, and then it becomes your side also. But at the same time, if you want to do business, you have to eat. So you have to think about your own survival and sustainability before you go 100% into it. Entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. So if you want to go into it, you have to be prepared.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for this. Abiola, are you still raising up your hands or okay?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. So, I have a question, but before then, I would like to put something forward. Like we all know, business is not created out of abstract. There must be an idea. You must conceive, must have conceived the idea, implement different things in order to bring them to life. But here is the thing: some customers approach you, they act like customers, they come, and because you just want them to patronize you, you try to like make them feel comfortable, tell them things they want to hear, not knowing that they are just there to steal your idea. A customer came to my place of work some weeks ago. He came and said, "Oh, I've been seeing this place. I would love to do this. How do you do this? How do you do that?" I explained to him, "Okay, this is what this is. Oh, are you this person?" I said, "No, I just developed this out of this and this and then." He was like, "Okay." Then later, the guy played. He spent up to like 15K. I was happy, and I was willing to like let him spend more, and I made him more comfortable, only for him to tell me that he owned a particular restaurant across the road, and most of his customers, they've been singing the praises of this place. So he thought like, so let me go down, let me see what they are doing. I was like, "Okay, you're welcome." And he mentioned some failed related businesses that he could not do because of bad management and all. So I said, "Okay." Then last week, my manager came and said, "Oh, the guy already bought some of the things, some of the things we have here, and he has started, operating some of our businesses." So sometimes your idea is good, and for you to even have your idea, you must have gone to few places to gather different people's idea to make it yours. It is okay. But when you begin to tackle other people's idea just for your own profit, in that situation, as a business owner, how do I deal with such person? Because this person keeps coming. It's more like him even trying to steal my interior work. It is that bad. So how do I deal with someone like this who appears to be or who pretends to be a customer only to come and steal my business idea and probably one no. So my question is such person, how do you deal with
Okay,
such person?
thank you. Uh, okay. uh, Thanks for the question. That question hits home already. So yeah, let's see. Whether you like it or not, people will try to steal your idea. So it is a sad reality, but it's the truth. People will always try to steal your idea. So you can't name one business that someone has not tried to replicate. Right. So in Nigeria, you have. So I was talking about the fintech sectors where um, everybody is doing payment, money point, OPay, PalmPay, blah blah. All these pay people, they are doing the same thing, right? Exactly the same thing. Um,
Babe,
hello? So everybody is doing the same thing. If you go to which other industry, even if you talk about Conga, you have what's the other one? So in every space there is someone that will try to steal your idea. But what you have to do is you need to have a superior business idea that they probably cannot catch up with. Um, Even if the person doesn't really talk to you, and then maybe another thing you have to also do as a business owner is that you have to protect your business. You have to protect your business secret. People will come to you to talk to you about different things in disguise, but you have to be careful of the kind of information you give out, because the easier you give out information, then you're making life easier for them. So first thing is, don't divulge unnecessary information to strangers. You can give them general information about your service, but not how you make that service work or how you set up that service. People come to you in disguise, but people will always try to copy what you do. If you want to, if you want to test what I've just said, in front of your house today, open a kiosk and start selling biscuits. The moment people start seeing that you are making sales from that biscuit, 2 doors away or 2 houses away from you, somebody is going to create another kiosk. And then before you know it, on that street, you have 3, 4 people doing exactly the same thing because you're making money. So it's one of the things about businesses. People always try to copy you, but the onus is on you to protect your business secret. Today, today we have Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and some of these beverage companies. They do similar things, but they have different formulas and different secrets. So you just identify something that makes your business unique and different from theirs. If someone wants to try to copy your idea, you own the original idea. It's easier for you to make modifications and improve on it. But someone that wants to copy your idea would always try to play catch up with you because it's not their original idea, it's your original idea. So try to protect your business secret. Don't divulge unnecessary information to anyone. And then you also have to keep innovating, right? Keep doing new things, keep bringing things that will make your business unique and different from whoever that wants to copy you. But till the end of the world, people will always try to copy what you're doing. So that's why every company has to be on their toes. They're thinking of in the banking sector, everybody does the same thing. First Bank, GT, everybody does the same thing. There's no difference. But why would you see more people go to GT instead of say a Zenith or instead of an Access? Is because of unique value propositions that they give to their customers. So no matter how much you try to copy them, you can just do something that's unique to you and that will appeal to your customers. So yeah, I think you shouldn't be scared about people trying to copy your business. It's just for you to look for other innovative ways of distinguishing yourself from other competitors. I hope that helps.
Yeah, Dr. Yusuf, please, you can unmute us.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much. Let me just pack this thing well. Okay. First of all, thank you very much for coming here, and it's been a very exciting and very interesting. It's actually a very interesting topic because of what is happening around the world these days. Uh, I myself have lost a lot of opportunities. So when you were telling us about the opportunities, I was like, in fact, if I start to count my own too, then I'll just see, I'll be like, and I thought of this idea, but someone would say, I think a lot of ideas are in the grave now, alongside with the people that thought of them. So yeah, it's important to at least try to see if that idea is going to work. So thank you very much for this session. Mine is just really a comment.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. I know about some of your endeavors, and I know that you also like to take risk, and so that even when the Utopia was going to start, right? I know we had a conversation about it, and
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing, Gigiwa. I'm still waiting for my returns on investment with Detopia.
The Ethiopia is like Tesla. In these 10 years.
so yeah, I remember when we had the conversation about Utopia, and at that time I was like, no, I'm not sure we can do this. And the reason I said so was because he said, "Oh, we can mentor young people, blah blah blah." I'm like, okay, but how many years of experience do I have that I want to mentor someone else? even me, I'm looking for a mentor, and then you're saying I should come and mentor someone else. So at that point, sure, maybe I had like 6 years of experience or 5 years. So I just didn't feel that I had what it takes to mentor other people. But I mean, but eventually, he went forward with it, and we have the Utopia today. So I think what I didn't realize at that point was that we actually know a lot. It's until we get the opportunity to teach other people that we find out what exactly we know. It was when we started when I joined as a mentor, and then I started talking to people, and then I realized that I knew a lot of things that other people didn't know, right? And I had a lot of knowledge to impact on other people. And since then, the Utopia has been running, and I'm really impressed with how far it has come. I think it really started around 2020 during pandemic. So
Yeah.
and then it's 4 years down the line, and the Utopia has moved from what it used to be to it's global now. The Utopia is global now.
And Ridwan, I think to me it wasn't even about knowing a lot, but it was about the fact that when you start having a conversation with people, it kind of like erupt things inside of you as well. I feel like it's a two-way learning process for me, because it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
quite it's quite funny how people don't even know, like you said, they know stuff, and then you learn from these people that you mentor as well. You
yeah,
learn a lot of
absolutely.
things from them as well. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a very interesting process. But I'm still waiting for my money, for my return on investment.
I
I
know.
wanted to,
I have you in mind. Don't worry.
I wanted to add as well, just for educational purposes, that when you start an endeavor, maybe be it a business or a startup, try not to think of profitability in mind. So I think Ridwan has mentioned it already. But profitability is not just, so value is not just profitability. Right? It's not just really about the profits. Some things, there are some ventures that you start and you don't even realize that you can actually start making money off it. So as long as you think of the value to the final consumer, like Ridwan said, so the value doesn't have to be profit. Even though you don't know how to generate profit out of Facebook didn't start as a profit
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
business. It was just
absolutely.
start. It just started it like, okay, let people network and stuff. That it was when they now got popular. That's okay. Actually, how can we start making money out of this thing? Even as at then, when investors were telling Mark that, come, when are we going to start making profit? He was like, no, 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 it's not time for thinking about profit yet. We still need to reach some certain regions. So eventually, it was now easy for them to now profitalize it. So let's try as much as possible to think of the value. Now, Utopia is well known, and a lot of people actually come to us for like partnerships and stuff. Which, if we wanted to like commercialize it, we would have said, okay, get money off that, or even do a subscription model, right? So something that started off like, okay, let's just mentor people. It now comes as something that you can actually commercialize. So sometimes some businesses they just start off as zero profits or non-profits, and eventually build onto something really great. Thank you for that, Rido.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
as well, Rewale, I think as well. I don't know, probably because I'm seeing this from a lecturer's perspective.
Yeah,
The joy that you gain when it comes to mentoring people and in
100%.
education, it's not really about the money you get from it, but about the progress that you see people make. Anytime I see, anytime I see Yusuf, sorry, Lukman rather,
Yeah.
Lukman post stuff on LinkedIn, like, and Abib, this guy is doing great things. I like, it gives me so much joy knowing that these guys came out from the Utopia. I feel like that in itself, it's
Yeah, yeah,
reward for me in itself. Yeah.
yeah. I tell you, and thank you for bringing that up. Lukman, Habib, Ibrahim. I think I can that
In
cohort,
fact,
right? I
I
think
can't
they were the,
mention them.
they were the first set of
Too many
the
of them.
Ethiopia.
Utopians, yeah.
Now they are now mentors now, right?
I know,
Uh,
right?
Habib and Lukman, and these guys are making money in dollars. In case people don't know, Habib, you are still making money in dollars, Habib, from
I know,
Nigeria.
right?
So,
In fact, it gives me so much joy, honestly.
yeah, but
And yeah,
yeah, I mean, the joy
and
you get from people is
Dr. Bolali said something. He said anyone that is affiliated with it, the reason why she always comes to us whenever she needs someone to employ for her businesses is because, as she said, it she was like anybody that comes from Ditopia, usually they know what they are doing. And I was like, that is actually true. Almost everybody in Ditopia are doing something like different, something great, and I'm always like super proud of them. So all the Detopians here, well done. In fact, you make
yeah,
me
yeah.
proud so
And
much.
it's you guys should know. Habib, you want to say something?
Oh, sorry. I just want to say all thanks to the Ethiopia mentors and mentee for the support from day one. And I think Ethiopia needs to retract the progress of mentee because a lot of people have even recorded accomplished greater, very, very much greater recently that they are not announcing in the group yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very nice point. So Yusuf, please, we need to work on something like this, and it's true. Yeah, because even a lot of business schools they do it as well. They track their graduates and then see their progress, and then they use that to pitch to other students or prospective students to say, "Oh, we have students that have done this, that have done that." So we need to be able to track as well. But you know, the essence of this platform is just to impart knowledge as much as possible, so that every other person can you can go back, do your homework, and then improve on whatever we have said. We probably will not give you 100% of all the information that you need, but we'll give you what is important for you to start the next level of your adventure. And you can obviously be the next Elon Musk, Bill Gates, or whatever, but you just have to start something, and then you need someone to propel you to doing some of these things. Um, Lukman is not here today, but I know that we are working on something. Me, Yusuf, Lukman, and someone. And the only reason why we brought Lukman in, Lukman is not here. I'm going to tell this thing to him the next time I see him. So remember, Yusuf, before we brought him into the luxury project, we knew we needed someone to join us on that project, but we didn't know who he was. But we knew that we needed to bring someone on that project. And then I spoke to Yusuf. I said, who do you think we can bring in to join us on this project? And unanimously, we said, let's bring Lokman in because of certain reasons, because he likes to write, and then some other reasons. So we said, let's bring Lokman, and then Lokman joined us, and he's been a very great team member. Again, the when we also started to, when Lokman also even moved to the World Bank. No, I'm not going to share this one until the day he joins this call, and then I will share it with him. But the joy is just in being able to impact knowledge. Like I said before, every other person joined this call, I didn't really have time this morning to come here. I know Chizzy had come to me last week. He asked me if I could do a session last week. I said no, that I couldn't do it because I had other things to do. This weekend too, once I get up, I have other project that I'm working on, but I just couldn't. I know I've not been really active with Ethiopia this year because of my MBA. So I thought, okay, if I've not been involved since the beginning of this year, maybe I could just do something today, and that's why I decided to do this. So I'm happy to have done this. I want to thank you for joining and listening to me today. Whatever I've said today, like I said, is just to propel you to do something that is that you can always be proud of. It'll be a thing of joy for me, for everyone here, to see that someone on this call eventually left this place with something. They started working on a business idea, and then they become billionaires, they become famous, and they become well known in the whole world. That's what we'd like to see. And we want to encourage you. If you think you need advice or financial advice or any sort of advice, you can reach out to me or reach out to Yusuf. I'm sure, we'll be able to support you in some way or the other. So thank you everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day. So I'll just, leave it, throw the mic back to you, Cheesy. So you just.
Thank you so much. Edward. Thank you so much, every other person that has joined, Dr. Yusuf, Mrs. Ade, and everybody here. I want to believe that we all will be chanced next week, Saturday, because definitely every Saturday is, value pack, knowledge pack at Detopia. All right. See you guys next week, Saturday. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you very much, Chizzy. I've not met you officially, but I'm hoping that we can have a chat one of these days. Especially with the competition coming up. So we need to talk.
Yes. Problem.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you.
Mao. Pardon, I'm sorry, you have left. Mr. Adita, you now. Our Ethiopia secretary. Bye bye.
Bye.